How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Jedi Survivor video. Now in today's video, I wanted to go over 10 different brand new changes that we're going to be seeing in Jedi Survivor that we didn't get in Jedi Fallen Order. But before we jump into things, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing a Jedi Survivor giveaway, and all you have to do is be a subscriber of the channel. Leave a comment telling me what you're most excited for in Jedi Survivor, and then follow the link in the description down below. Now you can get additional entries if you follow me on Twitter and follow me on Twitch, and you have to put in your name and your email address. Now I do have to emphasize though that if you're going to enter the giveaway, make sure you check your email after the giveaway is over, because the last giveaway I did, I tried to reach out to somebody and they just never responded, so they just didn't win and I had to pick somebody else. So if you're going to enter, make sure you check your email. So good luck to those of you that enter the giveaway, and let's go ahead and jump right into things. So jumping into the first big change that Jedi Survivor is going to have over Fallen Order is that we are going to be getting a lot of brand new enemy types. Now in Jedi Fallen Order, you faced a ton of different variations of stormtroopers and purge troopers and even some different beasts and creatures. And in Jedi Survivor, they're upping the enemy count even higher. Now based off of everything we know so far, in Jedi Survivor, we're going to be facing more bounty hunters like we did back in Fallen Order. There are a bunch of brand new beast types and creature types that were in the previous game. We're still going to be facing many stormtroopers and scout troopers and a bunch of different variations of purge troopers again. So those are all making a return from the first game. But the biggest change that we're getting in regards to enemy types is that we're facing battle droids. So this is definitely a welcome change because I am down for just facing tons and tons of different enemy types. It keeps it fresh and rewarding, and you know, it's fun to face different enemy types instead of just the same stuff over and over again. So it is confirmed that we are facing the super battle droids, the B1 battle droids that can be one-shot killed. So if you push them over with the Force or hit them with a deflected blaster bolt or hit them with your saber, they will just one-shot die, just like the movies and the Clone Wars TV show. So we're going to be facing a lot of B1 battle droids. The droidicas just made their very first appearance in the latest gameplay trailers, and we will also be facing off against the commando droids, which is going to be one of the harder variations of the droids that you're going to encounter. And then, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot of new creatures, such as the Wampa-looking creature, and there's going to be big boss encounters with creatures such as the Rancor. So the next major change that Jedi Survivor is receiving over Fallen Order is the ability to fast travel. Now, one of my major gripes with Jedi Fallen Order was that you had to walk physically everywhere. If you wanted to be a completionist and collect every single collectible, sometimes you'd have to walk clear across the map and then backtrack. And if you wanted to go to a different planet, you had to run all the way back to your ship, and it was just a major pain in the butt, and it got kind of repetitive, and that was one of my least favorite parts of Jedi Fallen Order. So there is definitely fast travel points. Every time you come across a meditation point in Jedi Survivor, you are going to be able to fast travel to other meditation points that you've previously unlocked. Now the enemies respawning is going to work the same way as it did when you played Fallen Order, except with fast travel now. So anytime you fast travel to a different point, all the enemies are going to respawn and refresh. So this might potentially be a good way to XP farm, is just fast traveling between two different points and just killing some enemies over and over again. So the next major change also has to do with traveling throughout the environment. The maps in Jedi Survivor are way bigger than they were in Fallen Order, and because of that, they have now given us the ability to mount different creatures. Now obviously this is going to depend on what planet you're on. It's confirmed that one of the planets we get to explore is going to be Coruscant, so that's really cool, but obviously it wouldn't make very much sense if you had a flying mounted creature or a rideable mount and you were just riding it around on Coruscant. But that doesn't mean that there might not be some sort of vehicle that you might be able to drive or something. Fingers crossed that we get to fly on some sort of hovercraft on Coruscant or something. That would be super cool. But using creatures on some of these big maps is going to make traveling and exploring just a way better and more fun experience. So another big change in Jedi Survivor that we didn't have in Fallen Order is that there is now going to be stores with different currencies that you can have. Now obviously in Fallen Order there was no shops or currencies or anything on that matter, but in Jedi Survivor there are going to be a lot of customization options. So there's going to be different shops and different merchants and just different types of things that you can buy. So now while we're out exploring and doing missions, we have to keep an eye out on managing our currencies and farming different currencies. So when the time comes, keep an eye out on this channel, and I will be giving you guys all kinds of guides for Jedi Survivor, and I will more than likely have a video on how to make money very quickly. So definitely hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on any future Jedi Survivor videos. And since we're on the topic of different merchants and currencies, it kind of brings me into the next point, which is all the different customization options. Now in Jedi Fallen Order, there was very limited customization. It was just Poncho 1, Poncho 2, Poncho 20, and there was just a bunch of different variations of ponchos. And apparently, according to the developers, they didn't even plan to add ponchos into the first game. It was sort of a last-minute decision, and that's why we didn't get very many customization options. And honestly, we're kind of lucky that we got the ponchos, because the alternative was nothing at all. But in Jedi Survivor, they're making tons of improvements. You can change your outfits, your jackets, you can change the clothing that's underneath your jacket, you can change the colors of your individual jacket or your pants, and you can even customize Cal's hair and his beard. So there's definitely way more customization options in Jedi Survivor than there was in Fallen Order, and that alone has me just super excited to play this game, because that was definitely one of the lacking parts in the first one. So next up, let's talk about one of the biggest changes coming to Jedi Survivor, and it's the fact that you can actually use a blaster. Now in Jedi Fallen Order, it was strictly nothing but the saber, which was cool. I mean, I liked the fact that you had multiple stances and multiple options to play around with in Jedi Fallen Order, but in Jedi Survivor, they're upping that even further, and they're giving you a blaster a little later on in the game. But not only that, you can actually customize the blaster the same as you can your lightsaber. Now we haven't gotten any gameplay of actually using a blaster, and a lot of the EA content creators that got to fly out and play the game early, they all got to see gameplay, and they all said that it works like Red Dead Redemption, where you have this sort of Deadeye move and you can just hit multiple targets at the same time, and you can go to a workbench and you can change the look and the feel of your blaster. Now this has already kind of been confirmed with the Deluxe Edition. If you pre-order the Deluxe Edition, there are a bunch of different skins that you can get for your blaster and your lightsaber. For example, if you get the Deluxe Edition, you can make your blaster look like the DL-44, which is what Han Solo used. And just the fact that you can have a blaster and change the way that it looks, I think that's a huge improvement from the last game, and I am all for it. So next up is another massive change that we're getting that we didn't have in Fallen Order, and it's the ability to dismember limbs. I remember back when Fallen Order was announced and we saw the original gameplay trailers. From the very beginning, people were upset with the gameplay because the lightsaber just felt like a baseball bat, and you would swing it and just bounce off of stormtroopers' armor, and you wouldn't cut off any arms or legs. Now obviously there's a fine line here between a teen rating and an M for mature rating, and they don't want this game to be M for mature, so they had to find a good balance between cutting off limbs and it not being too graphic, and I feel like they did a good job with Jedi Survivor, because now you can cut off arms, you can cut off legs, but it's not bloody and gory or anything. The wound instantly gets cauterized from the heat of the lightsaber, so it's not going to be too graphic, but it is going to definitely satisfy a lot of us crazy Star Wars fans that want to see the dismemberment, because we are using a lightsaber after all, and if a lightsaber can cut through doors and metal objects, it can definitely slice through a stormtrooper's arm with ease. So that is going to be a huge upgrade from the previous game, and it's going to make lightsaber combat feel a lot more smooth and a lot more fun. So the next big change that we're getting in Jedi Survivor is a bit of a small one, but it's a good quality of life change, and it's the fact that you get a grapple hook, and you get it pretty early on. Now back in Jedi Fallen Order, there was a lot of climbing vines, climbing buildings, climbing objects. Like, there was tons of climbing and jumping puzzles, and it was frustrating for a lot of people. Like my best friend Cookie, he doesn't like Jedi Fallen Order because of all the parkour and the climbing, and he's just not a fan of that. So for those of you that aren't a fan of the climbing and jumping puzzles, there's going to be a grapple hook now. So if you miss the ledge or you mistime your jump and you're falling to your death, you can sort of save yourself with the grapple hook at the last minute, and that's just going to be a great quality of life change when it comes to exploration. So the next big change coming to Jedi Survivor is the fact that we're actually getting side missions and side characters to interact with. Now in Jedi Fallen Order, there was like no side missions at all. There was some exploration and stuff, but everything was just straightforward and everything was tied to the main story. Well, in Jedi Survivor, there's going to be a bunch of different NPCs and characters you can interact with scattered throughout the environments. Some of them are going to have fetch quests, some of them are going to have long, interesting side objectives, And a lot of these side missions are ways that you can earn currency, they're ways that you can unlock different cosmetics. And once you complete some of the missions for the side characters, you can send them back to the outpost and they will actually become merchants where you can then buy different upgrades for your character and your cosmetics. So the fact that Jedi Survivor is getting side objectives now is going to add just hours and hours of additional gameplay versus the previous game. And then the final change I want to mention in Jedi Survivor versus Jedi Fallen Order is that we're getting 5 lightsaber stances. Now in Jedi Survivor, we're getting 2 additional stances. We're getting the Crossguard Saber, which is like Kylo Ren's saber. This is the big, bulky powerhouse saber. This is where your big, heavy attacks are going to come from. It's going to be a lot slower to swing, but it's going to do a lot more damage. We still have the basic lightsaber stance, which is going to be your default stance. Everything's going to be nice and balanced using it this way. We have the double-sided lightsaber making a return just like the last game. That'll probably be good for crowd control and taking out multiple enemies at the same time. Then we have the dual wielding where you have a lightsaber in each hand and your swings and attacks will be a lot faster, but you are easily open to taking a lot more damage. A lot of people that got to play this early were all saying that they were taking a lot of damage when they were using this stance and it just wasn't their favorite out of the 3 they got to play with. And then the final stance is the blaster stance that I mentioned earlier, and this will give you the option to take out enemies at a distance. So there's definitely going to be a wide variety of different stances and move sets and abilities and just different things you can pull off that you couldn't in the last game. And even though there are 5 stances in total, you can have 2 equipped at the same time and you can just sort of switch between the 2 of them on the fly. And then if you want to change those out, you have to meditate. And then when you meditate, that is when you can select what stances you have equipped. Maybe you're dying to a boss over and over again and you need to change your stances. You can just meditate, swap out the stances, and then just go back into the boss fight and try it using a completely different skill set. So that is all the major changes that's coming to Jedi Survivor that we didn't have in Jedi Fallen Order. Basically, any complaint I had playing Jedi Fallen Order is getting improved in Jedi Survivor, and I loved Jedi Fallen Order at the time. I think I gave it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and this game is already looking just miles better than that one. So this has like 9 out of 10 or even 10 out of 10 potential for me. I haven't been this excited for a Star Wars game in years. We just haven't had very many Star Wars games as of late, and this is definitely going to scratch my Star Wars itch. So that is going to do it for everything in this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, then please give this video a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. And if you don't want to miss out on anything related to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I'm going to have tips and tricks videos and guides and breakdowns and just tons and tons of content for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So if you don't want to miss out, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. And then if you want to tune in to my live streams, I stream on Twitch at Swanee Plays Games Live. So hopefully I see you guys there. And that is going to do it for me, everyone. And I will talk to you all in the next video.